Chemko, founder of Umami Marketing and Umami Journeys. So life has been drastically altered, as we all know, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And although I've mastered the art of working remotely more or less for the past 10 years, and in many ways feel really well prepared for the current circumstances in terms of my own individual life and impact, I too have to be mindful to stay grounded and focused as I, along with the rest of the world, are adapting to this whole new normal. So while my usual day-to-day has been disrupted, especially while I was fully quarantined 24/7 for 2 weeks upon returning from Thailand about 5 weeks ago, I've been finding comfort in my daily routine. So I wanted to be able to share what I do, as it might also help you navigate this changing world. So first of all, my morning pages. While staying isolated in my current home, which is actually an Airbnb in Vancouver, Canada, that I'm grateful I was able to choose during my layover while I was in Japan on my transit back home. I've been savoring these slower starts to the day by focusing on somewhat recent morning pages. So this routine, which is from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way book, they're basically 3 pages of free-form, handwritten thoughts that tumble out onto the page. So I treat them as a place to put whatever comes to mind whenever I first wake up every morning. So I do this before I even get out of bed, before I check my phone, before I do anything else, rather than, maybe drinking a glass of water on my bedside table. So of course, doing it first thing doesn't have to be the hard and fast rule for everyone to still get the benefit from it. But it's what has really worked for me, and it's become so ingrained over the past few months that I really cherish this time exactly as it is every morning. I chose a really beautiful journal that makes me happy to pick up each day, and it goes wherever I do, whether I'm traveling or staying put like I am now indefinitely. So the morning pages are a space where I can process my feelings, work through any issues or challenges that come up, and these can be work-related or otherwise. It's really just writing down random thoughts that may seem crazy to anyone else who might read them. And if the morning pages idea resonates with you, I highly recommend reading The Artist's Way for more details. 2, my quality pour-over coffee. So many of us enjoy the ritual of a morning coffee from a local cafe or coffee shop. And since that's no longer possible in quite the same way, many shops are now closed. And many are transitioning back to more of an old-fashioned way of having a coffee at home. Imagine that. After drinking way too much average coffee from a generic pot that was brewed in my recent shared LA home, or French press like I've had elsewhere over the last several years, I've kind of changed up my habits a little bit to really enjoy one single cup of quality pour-over coffee every day. I savor in the process of finding really good beans, grinding them fresh every morning, and then making a single flavorful cup that I truly relish. So I've invested in a stainless steel filter, and I have a Beta reusable mug, and find really immense satisfaction in trying to make just the right cup every morning, no matter where I am. So more recently, I've brought it between LA to Thailand, to Chicago, to Vancouver, wherever I happen to be. And it's a newer morning routine that I've come to look really forward to and appreciate as I sit somewhere cozy, do some more writing, or spend that time writing in my other journal and prioritizing my upcoming day. So that leads me to 3, strategize your day. So while it can be very difficult to stay organized and motivated right now, especially if you're not used to working from home and are accustomed to more structure, the hours and weeks are becoming a bit of a blur, and it can even be difficult to remember what day of the week it is. Just know that you're not alone, and many people are feeling this same lack of focus right now, including myself. What can help for me is by prioritizing each day into manageable chunks of time. So I'll sit down with my journal every morning after I do my morning pages and put out my top 3 priorities of what I want to do that day. And then I'll allocate a little bit of time to make sure that I focus on each of them. The key here is really allocating manageable chunks of time. If all you can do is, 10 or 15 minutes right now, that's great. Do whatever you can. So you can spend, your first 15 minutes working on your top priority, and then allow yourself, a 10-minute break to get up and walk around a bit, maybe listen to a song or two, and then dive back in for another 15 minutes and so on. breaking up the day into more manageable chunks of time with something in between to kind of keep you going, I find helps me, sometimes be able to stretch those smaller chunks of time into longer and improve my focus as well as increase my productivity. But most importantly here, I find, being easy on yourself is key. It's really an unprecedented, challenging time right now, and it's difficult to suddenly just start working from home when you're really not used to it and used to, everything else that's also going on around it. So 4, movement and the outdoors and nature. So it's still possible to enjoy physical activity and even the outdoors while practicing safe social distancing, depending on where you're located in the world, of course. So getting outside and going for a walk, even just a short one, really helps me so much in terms of being able to, go through the rest of my day. And on those rainy days, it's still possible to get movement in. I've changed my daily movement practice to be doing yin yoga, and I tend to do this in the early evening every single day. And sometimes I'll add in a solo dance party or two when I want to add in a bit of cardio. There are also a ton of gyms online and exercise studios offering free or heavily discounted virtual workout classes, which can also be a great way to still relieve stress, anxiety, clear your head, and get in some physical activity to your routine, especially because I've shifted from being able to play beach volleyball 4 or 5 days a week. So if you haven't tried a quarantine workout yet, try to fit one in the morning or the middle of your workday, and I guarantee you'll find you have a much more focused and productive afternoon. And regardless of the uncertainty that we're facing right now or otherwise, these practices and routines have made a huge difference for my life, both prior to and even more so during this time, and will always be there for me to follow when I feel unfocused or ungrounded. So I hope one or all of these things that I do may do the same for you. Stay safe and be healthy. I will be back again after this long hiatus another time in the future to chat more about digital marketing and life. Take care.